it's always windy in Doha. If you wonder what the marathon site looks like on a normal day, here it is. So this is right at the start line. So those gates are where the Qatari flag is. That was the start and finish line. And after we started, we curved around to the right here and followed the road up there. This is parallel to the pathway along there. And today I'm just going to go for an easy post-run shakeout. So it's probably going to be about 8 kilometres and some strides thrown in as well, just to loosen up things. But today's not about me. I'm going to have a chat about some amazing people I've already met this year. So I did an interview with Nick Nicholson before the race, which I'll put up in a minute. So Nick did 270 marathons last year, and that will be Guinness World Record once it's verified by them. But first I'm just going to talk about a few other people I've met. So at every race so far, I've met someone who's either already done something pretty amazing or is planning to in the future. So first of all, I'll talk about a couple of people I met at Crevecore in the last race in Italy. So one of them, he is doing 12 marathons in 12 different countries this year, and another guy, he has done, was it 201 in his lifetime, so I think Crevecore was his 202nd marathon, so that's a lot of running. In Zurich at the New Year's Marathon, the first person I met there was Gabby. She was one of the volunteers there, so handed me my race number, and she's an ultra marathon runner, but she decided that's not hard enough. So this year she's going to be rowing across the Atlantic Ocean. So that's a pretty big goal. She has a Facebook and website with all the information about that. So I'm going to link that down below so you can go and check that out and find updates on when the journey's going to start. And the other person I met in Zurich was another Aussie guy, Jamin. He has a business called Mountains and Marathons. So that's a leadership program which is done online, so you can do it from anywhere in the world. And pretty much after the leadership program is done, the finale is either a marathon or climbing a mountain. So the next one they have is finishing at the San Francisco Marathon, and the one after that finishes at Everest Base Camp. But Jamin himself, he's got his own goal. He wants to run 7 marathons in 7 continents and climb 7 mountains in 7 continents. So he's hoping to finish that in Antarctica early next year. Can't remember when it was, I think it was possibly January. But I'm going to link his Facebook and website below for Mountains and Marathons, so you can go check that out. But anyway, I'm going to put on the interview with Nick right now. I've hit the big time now. I've got almost 50 Instagram followers, and I got my first interviewee as well. So this is Nick Nicholson, and last year he ran 270 marathons in a year. So Nick, what gave you that idea?
It started out with just after my divorce, something to do. I had a target to see how many I could do in a year.
Awesome. And have you been running for a long time, or is this quite a recent thing?
My first one was in 1990. I took a bit of a break, and then the next one was 2007, running in London.
Okay, fantastic. And obviously you got the world record for the most, or Guinness World Record for the most marathons in a year. Did you set out to break that, or is that just something which came along as it happened?
Yeah, it was just something that came along as it happened. I went for the most I could do. I set out and got that in 2016, 202 marathons, and then by then it was basically at the end of the year. I did so many and I had nothing to show for it, so I started looking at the world record, and at the time it was 239 in a year. So I brought 50 Ks into the mix, which gave me additional events, and that sort of bumped up my marathon total.
Fantastic. And so you've already got the record for that. What's your plan for this year?
Well, I say the record, that's all provisional because I haven't actually sent the paperwork in. What I'm working on now is most 50 Ks in a year, and I'm up to 180 odd, and these are runs that are done in a calendar year, so it's a rolling, not a calendar year, but a rolling year. So every new day is potentially a new record. So what I'm concentrating on now really is most 50 Ks in a year, but also working towards building up, potentially going from 270 to possibly 275 this year for marathons.
Cool, perfect. And with doing so many races, you must be pretty lucky with injuries, or have you had any setbacks?
Not really injuries per se. A lot of muscle pulls and things like that. Some things have slowed me down this year, but again, with a bit of massage and a little bit of stretching, it's all sort of panned itself out.
Okay, so the 270 isn't the only Guinness World Record that you've either got or applied for. Can you tell me a bit about the other records which are processing right now?
The other ones I'm doing is most 50Ks in a year. So that's ongoing. It's up to 182, I believe, was the last one. Then off the back of those is the fastest 100 marathons completed. That's in a time period, so it took 117 days to do 100 marathons, and then for the fastest 150Ks, that was around 194 days. Then you've got most marathons in a month. That was 27. Also, as part of that month is most 50Ks. That's 29. And then another one is most competition miles, or miles and official events accumulated during the year. And that I haven't even done that sum yet. But that would be 7 records, and I haven't applied for any of these yet. Basically, it's because the paperwork is the most difficult part of all of this. I'm going to wait to do all of the running, and then just submit everything at one time. So any questions come up, they'll just be all part of the same batch of paperwork.
Okay, awesome. So obviously you've travelled to a lot of different places. Do you have a favourite race?
I'd have to say London, really. I've done that one 4 times, and that basically comes down to the people lining the course, because it's a big motivation and a big push to keep you going. But that said, that's the only major I've done. I haven't done Chicago, New York, or any of the other ones. A lot of my races are the smaller ones. A lot of city ones when I can get them. And again, those sort of races are the ones I enjoy, because you end up with people you can chase down, and apart from lapped events, you can see someone, set your sights on someone, and then close in on them.
Okay, and do you have a least favourite travel destination?
Least favourite? Nothing comes to mind. It's just all I do is travel, so I haven't really considered much to think about on that sort of front. Yes, because all I do is travel, sleep, drive, run.
Oh, that's good. You haven't had any too bad experiences then.
No, it's been horrendous.
So is the best way for people to follow you on Facebook?
Yeah, Chasing World Records on Facebook.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to link that down below. And if you like my awesome microphone, give this video a thumbs up.